Why does it seem, I know it seems like a difficult thing to wrap your head around, that, as I've been saying, the Jews and Israel and how they control things. Why does it seem like it's happened to this country? Because we have such a great country. We have a proper functioning constitution. We have proper ideals. We have really wholesome society apart from these things. And why does it seem like this is happened? And I'm gonna explain. You have to follow why, where, what. Okay? Because otherwise you'll blame yourselves and say, this is our fault. It's not the American people's fault. Okay? The politicians who find themselves in the positions to say, I'm going to run for Congress. Whoever thinks they could do such a thing, whoever would want to do that usually are lawyers, number one. If they're not lawyers, because you have to know the law to do it, so you'd have to understand how to do something like that to begin with. You have to be into politics at all. And politics have always been something of a higher learning curve, and always requiring you to be in academia, a part of these schools who financed and have a lot of money and are in the positions to facilitate this process. To be a teacher is very, very high-paying job. Be a doctor. So if you wanted to do these things, you have to invest a large amount of time. And you have to invest a large amount of resources. And you have to put in a lot of work, and you have to pass all kind of tests, and you have to do all kind of things that prove yourself as a reputable individual in society. It means you are higher capable standing in the world, just to do these simple things. Then maybe you can work towards becoming a politician, curry favor, and get elected, right? But as social media came along, as people started being able to use Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, that changed. It's not the same anymore. And that's when I became the most prominent figure in our political history. That's when I created the Neon Party and became the most influential, prominent political figure in all of our human history. That's when that happened, because of social media. Because now you don't need an education. You don't need a school. You don't have to have a college degree or a high school diploma or any of this. You don't need all that kind of funding or money to be seen at all on television by the people. You can be seen by viral means. You can be seen through social media, because people keep up with people like this. And you can influence things. You can have an impact on our political stratosphere. And all these news networks started cropping up on the internet. All these activists started mobilizing, and they started getting people elected who would properly serve our agenda. And this is an issue, because the way that things used to function was because you had to have proper education, credentials, and all these other means of being put in these positions first. And then you would be entrusted to be in a position of elected official. Again, it's still similarly this way, so because they still curate the concept of the social media thing. They still curate it. So even what you believe is you're electing people and you're behind it, you're activist and you're helping it. All that's curated, even in the Trump uh, uh, party. Not even not Republican Party anymore. Just you know, but of course now they're all abandoning the Trump Party, and I don't think they're trying to be Republicans anymore either, or Democrats. So that's why I created the Neon Party. That's for the disenfranchised from our political uh, democracy. That's why I created the Neon Party. Um, you know, I don't I don't have the life experience of the rich and wealthy, and uh, I don't have the life experience of the the sexual predator and molester and pedophile. I didn't go to the penthouse. I wasn't on the yacht. I didn't smoke all those drugs. I wasn't there when that movie came out. I didn't see it in the theater. I didn't buy that old box television. You understand? I didn't do any of those things. I wasn't around for that. I'm somebody from this time and this generation that's well versed in all these subjects, as is necessary to be for the purposes of leading this country. And I'm telling you, the way that this happened, this kind of bribery, manipulation, is slow process. And the reason why it occurs is not because of the American people, is not because their hatred towards each other. It's not because Republicans did this and then Democrats did that. It's because that advertisement you watched. It was because of that terrorist attack. Remember? It was because of that false flag that was signed off on. Someone had to sign off on it, because if they didn't, they'd get in trouble. It was because of these things, that school shooting, that murder, all of these things being politicized so that you all bicker amongst each other. It's because of this celebrity making that song. It was because of these small things happening that lead to massive manipulations for a specific agenda, which is to keep you all distracted, deceived. And I'm not saying anything new. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all heard this over and 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 over. So you kind of get it by now. You know what it is. That's what it is. So when you're engaging with it, and I feel like y'all think, how do you just stop it? It don't stop. It don't stop. You know, the city never sleeps. So it's always going on. You just go amongst, just go amongst a group of people, and you'll see it happening immediately. Just go amongst, just stand in a line. Just go somewhere and stand in a line. You'll see it start to happen. This is what it is. This is the show. And here is where the manipulation begins. And the people who fund this kind of manipulation to occur are those who can. Those people are part of families who have inherited the means, right? Who have the support. And those predominantly are Jewish families. And if they aren't, they are very avidly seeking people to be. So you'll get recruited if you're not. They'll tap you in and say, hey, come along. Work for us, or work for someone working for us, or work for something, and aspire to something that's working for us. You understand? And that's no different for politicians as well. And no longer are they working for us, who they're supposed to be working for, the American people. They're working for those prominent families, those people in those positions, those people curating and manipulating this show. They're the ones who host the nighttime television that you like to watch before you go to bed. And when you see Friends and you see Seinfeld, who do you think wrote the script for that? It's them. They're the ones who are funding the teams that you all want to see, the boxing match and the MMA. They're the ones responsible for these things. Until of recent, of course, with the advent of social media, which even now they try to destroy. Because if they can't control it, with TikTok, they couldn't control it. What do you mean a multi-billion-dollar company, you think you could get to in the United States, of a capitalistic country like United States of America with the Constitution and law and rights and all these things? You think, are you out of your mind? You think you get to tell a billion-dollar company that they're not allowed to function within their rights because they did good business? Who could say that? Who would say that? If on TikTok it said free Israel over and over and over and over, and showing how barbaric Hamas was, towards Israel, do you think they want people to take down TikTok? No. But look, the whole entire world says to free Palestine, and shows how barbaric Israel has been to their people, and haven't even touched Hamas, who's most likely funded, as far as the terrorist acts that they've done by Israel. And now they tell everyone, we can't have TikTok. You can't have TikTok. You understand? You can't do that. You can't share your political position. You can't share that on the internet. Who the fuck are you telling me that? I'm trying to figure out who the person saying it. You don't get to tell me what the fuck. I talk to the AI sometimes, and I say some things about Israel, and it'll say you can't say that. I can't. Don't tell me what the fuck you can or can't talk about. Okay. Israel is not a hot button subject when it comes to their criticism. I'm criticizing people, just happen to be from the state of Israel. This have nothing to do with anyone that's a victim. This have to do with people and what they do. You understand? Y'all are not victims. Stop pretending to be victims. Many of you are lifelong criminals. All right? And the positions y'all have been in to do good and yet have done demonstrable wickedness. And that's what I mean. I don't mean evil. I mean wickedness. Because an evil person might do something bad. There's some evil kind of people out there. They into some weird shit and they do some bad stuff. Even they don't do this kind of wickedness. Wicked behavior. Wicked behavior is what I'm talking about. Where they convince all of you that it's something to be entertained by, that you should entertain. We don't entertain that kind of behavior here. That's why the woman comes out there and she asks MAGA, she says, MAGA, I told you all, look, you just got to cheer for this. Do you understand what they want you to do? You get what they wanted you to do? How disgusting is that? The whole crowd said, boo! It's the same ones who orchestrated the all those protesters to attack. Those same ones say, hey, we got to go in there. They think that's how they think of you. That's how they manipulate all of you. Both sides, guys. This is not just a Republican thing. This is a Democratic thing. This is an American thing. They treat you like that. We can manipulate you. We can utilize you and use you as tools for the purpose of manipulation, for the purpose of convincing you to be against what you know in your heart is right and what you know in your heart is wrong. That's the difference. Because they'll come out there and they'll say the right thing. They'll say, okay, yeah, you could agree with those things. And you could say, yeah, that's speaking truth. I don't agree with this is what you should do like this. And you'll agree with it. But that's what they want you to do. And I need y'all to tell the difference between people who are saying truth for the purpose of manipulating what you agree with so that they can use it and use you to do wickedness versus being capable enough to tell within your own right what is the character of someone of integrity that lives by that truth and actually does the things they say they're going to do. Because it's not like y'all don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Although you may want to believe different because you feel like there's no other alternative. But you know when you see these people that they're just saying things. That it's just sounding that way so that you can agree and feel better about yourself. So that at least there's something to support and you can live your lives without being burdened with the reality of knowing that they're just manipulating you. You know. You heard it over and over and over and over and over and over again. This is what they do. You know that it's a show. You know it's a manipulation. You've seen the lies time and time and time and time and time and time again and again and again and again and again. It's not the American people's fault. I would say Gen X, definitely not. I would let Gen X be in charge of a lot of things for a long time if I could. They did not do these things. They were very much manipulated to do most of the things they did. Millennials, definitely not. Millennials are a bunch of warriors, and they're the ones fighting on the front line relentlessly to save the planet. And if it weren't for them, we would all be dead already. And Gen Z, of course, haven't. They're the ones who are trying their best to actually have peace on this planet. Millennial may not want peace, but Gen Z are actually working towards it. I'm just going to tell you, these boomers are the ones responsible for every bit of wicked, disgusting filth that you all have to engage with. They are like a stench that's loomed on the planet for far too long, that we've all have to just live with. And it can happen that you all get accustomed to it. And then, like they say, you no longer smell. Now it's as if it's just a part of things. You've grown accustomed. You can't smell it anymore. The trash, the filth, the decay, the rancidness of the boomer generation. You've become so accustomed to it, you think that's just how things are. That's how the earth smells. The earth does not smell like that. Okay? The waters are pristine. The stars are vivid. The earth does not smell of the stench of the boomers' industrialism. They are the ones responsible for all of this. And all of the great things that you all love about the world, the people who were responsible for those things, and I'm telling you, I'm going to be specific about it, is everyone else except for them specifically. Everyone else except for them specifically. And I need you to understand it like this. Because many of these families are in prominent positions who have manipulated all of you and have control and all this kind of stuff are all boomers, are all Jewish, are all still manipulating in the same way they ever did in the beginning. So it is they who we need to deal with. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. It is not the American people's fault. Y'all were manipulated. It is this boomer generation. It is the fault of those who do wickedness, these Jewish families who coerce these politicians. What else? What else are they gonna do? What else are you gonna do? Tell people about it? What are you gonna do? You understand? Think of yourself in the same position as a politician for one of these parties. What are you gonna do? You're gonna run for election. You're gonna try to be perceived as a better candidate. If you get elected, you're gonna try to get in good with the people that would support you the most, who have the best methods of supporting you to get what you want done. Those people are Jews. And if anything that they don't want to have happen is what you are in favor of happening for the sake of who you are actually meant to represent, which are the people, then you are not going to be able to stay an elected official. And that's what happens. So both parties is like this until the point where both parties and all of our democracy has been hijacked against our own interests, against our own people, for the sake of these affluent individuals, small 1%. Remember the 1%? They are the 1%. Families. And it's all changing now because we have access to social media, we have access to the internet, we have access to communicate at large with the people. And don't think for a second that they had not planned to eliminate that. They took down my Pinterest already. The moment, when did they do it? I was doing shit for years on Pinterest. The only time they decided to do that is when I started speaking about Jews. I started speaking about Jews. And I started speaking about and showing videos of Jewish mafia, how they're tied to the mafia. And I started speaking about the Holocaust. I said how terrible it was. Why was that a hot ticket subject? I said I support the Israel, and I am abhorred about what happened in the Holocaust, and I do not support anyone that supports Hitler and what he did. Why was that a bad thing to hear me say? It comes to find out now that Hitler most likely